Ladies and gentlemen, how you all doing? This is Con Ulrich.
I'm Ringru, hello, hello, hello.
And folks, we have heard the outcry. We are bringing back more of Redstorm 44. Today, we're going to give you a delicious little game here over on Slit's Quest. This is going to be between two talented players. Rang, what is going on here, and who are they bringing to the fray?
On left hand side in the blue, we have Ort Fredrinka playing as the 6th Luftwaffe Field Division with a Vanguard, or technically a Vanguard income. And on the right hand side in the red, we have the Graham Slam playing as 84th Guards Infantry with a balanced income. The matches for Redstorm we're going to be covering this week are the finals for the losers bracket of the Redstorm SD League tournament. It's the best out of 3. The winner of them will go on to the true finals against Refo now.
So the one thing I'm noticing over here right now is that first of all, I always like covering actually, the slightly less most winningest person on here. I feel like you always see such incredible games because both these guys have something to prove now. You know, they've lost once, they want to go and kind of like wipe that clean, get their honor back, all that kind of good stuff here. And frankly, looking at these two divisions, I don't know. I think we're in for a real kind of weird match, mostly because of the vehicle imbalance for one.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting, because 6th Luftwaffe is a very good defensive division, and this is a pretty good defensive map, as you can just slap the anti-tank guns all over the place and have a pretty good time, as 6th Luftwaffe does pretty well in open field fights. 84th also has a bunch of IS-2s, ISU-122s, not as much anti-tank guns and whatnot, but they also have a lot of very heavy-duty, long-range anti-tank firepower. Both have lots of infantry, so this should be a pretty interesting matchup.
It certainly should be. I mean, right now we are seeing a rather infantry-heavy breakout initially, and I actually love how we have the Stu-42 over here starting to loft some shots down, trying to take out that sniper. That sniper actually should be fired right about now, since he's fired like 4 or 5 rounds, and yet has only killed 2 guys. What kind of sniper are you, man? No scope that. Come on.
You need to do the 360 spin before shooting him, but damn, your Stu is also can't hit a broadside of a barn. It's only 2 guys, and he can barely even hit, yet alone suppress him.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, haven't you seen Shooter? If you want to go and start lofting around to find the sniper, unless they want you to find them, this is not like, guys running around wearing pink like you see in all the shooters. We are going to see a bit of a Kampf group moving down over here to the south, but we also have a Nebel moving into the north-central position for the Germans. The Rodina, on the other hand, bring in their first IS-2 up to the north-central position. No, going dead center as well. How do you see this game developing?
I feel like this will be a little bit stalematy between both sides, as neither one has crazy offensive divisions. Imagine quite a bit of artillery, as both sides do have rocket artillery available to them. I feel like the southern side, as we're seeing right now, is what's going to be developing the most, as Ort is making very good progress, as Graham deployed very defensively down south, really, only covering that tree line with the flag, not even going for the crossroads run, which is pretty much giving away a free flag, to Ort. So, the question is, well, Ort's going to get some very good territory. It's going to be about whether Ort can continue to push, because, Forest, which Graham is defending, well, he can guard it pretty well with Royals Guard troops.
Yes, as I know, as people always ask us just to make sure we understand what's going on with these badges. Remember, guard troops over here, 12% stress resistance. One of those things would be very, very good for us as these get closer and down and dirty. Honestly, the Luftwaffe Jaegers, I kind of go back and forth by how much I kind of either remotely despise them, at the same time stand them. What's your thoughts?
They're alright. They're pretty much just like Grenadiers, essentially. They got the MG42, which is nice, but you don't have any of those fancy traits like with a lot of Redstorm infantry, so they're pretty mediocre. They're more just there to... They're spammy. They're there to hold the line. You're really relying on your fire support to really do most of the damage.
And awkwardly, people like your Fusiliers, so your recon squads over here, which again, you don't get a lot of them, and since they tend to be very, very effective anti-armor positions, you don't really want to be too aggressive with them either. Unfortunately, we see one of those going down already. And I guess a couple of MG34s will start to, I think, enter negotiations here as well.
Yeah, and I think doing a pretty good job in the negotiations, definitely convincing the side to the air side of the argument with, you know, rather applicable use of 8mm Mauser.
Yeah, I mean the Russians are hardly able to get in a word in edgewise, and I think that's gonna be kind of hard when they start spitting out arguments quite so prolifically. Um, ooh, we have an off map coming in.
Yep,
Okay, so
76.
yeah, so expect a lot of shells. If these guys don't get out of the way in the next few seconds, it's going to be very, very bad. But actually, we also see there's a Katyusha who's aiming at the towns to the north, and a Nebel who's looking to try to hit the Katyusha. So this is gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
This town's gonna explode though.
Yeah, and it's incendiary rockets, so that's going to be pretty nasty stuff. Yeah, I've seen what actually evacuating the Luftwaffe Jaegers, but the Pioneers, I mean, I guess they're flame troops, so they should be more resistance to flames. That makes sense, you know. You know, having like a flame tank on the back gives you like 20%, you know, flame resistance because of all the flames already nearby.
I think it's a 5-up word save, but I might be.
Yeah, I think so.
But
Makes them more weak to water guns, Joe.
That is true. That is certainly true. I have to watch this Nebel for barrage. My status as being a caster demands it. The first rocket, second rocket.
Goddamn love. I love seeing artillery, especially rocket artillery, go off in this game. But that was a really good counter snipe, yeah. I think that Neighborhood essentially just paid himself off just sniping out one Katyusha.
Well, you look down to the south as well, that 76 mil off map, pinning down a couple of Luftwaffe Jaegers, but they don't actually get the front line of troops.
Oh.
Which kind of frees them up to kind of really engage these PTRDs. And as we've always talked about, these PTRDs, these guys pay for themselves so monstrously quickly. You have to take them out as soon as possible.
Yeah, they're not as much of a threat really for Ort, because Ort doesn't have a whole lot of light armor. He has no half-tracks, he has no recon vehicles. His only armored vehicles are Stugs and Stews. So, I mean, it sucks as well, because you don't have any other vehicles to back you up, but it does mean the PTRDs are a little less of a threat. Yeah, of course, they can still mess up Stugs.
We are going to see a entire wave of air strength be kind of sent in and pulled back. Several BF-109s, both a bomber, no, an ME-410 too. Ooh, interesting. Okay. So, looking really quickly as the kind of furball and firefight continues to rage down here in the south, and starts to even brew up a little bit further to the north, air power back and forth, shockingly enough, I might have to give the edge of this over to the Soviets, which is such a weird thing to say whenever the Luftwaffe is involved.
Yeah, the 6 Luftwaffe in this model, in this game, because they're not in the base game, don't really have a whole lot of air power, or really anti-air in general. More of a, you know, they kind of traded in all the anti-aircraft guns and the airplane tickets so they could get big, heavy anti-tank guns. So they're a little less Luftwaffe than you'd think.
Second Nebelwerfer, by the way, looking to hit that anti-air position along the Komrati. Given the spread that's kind of endemic to these artillery strikes, I don't know if this is going to be quite as effective, but we'll kind of see as the first rounds begin to fall.
All it requires is one dead hit.
Wow. Just wow.
Accuracy through volume of fire.
You know, and again, that's the whole quantity through quality through quantity kind of thing. I mean, 410 going in after the IS-2, unfortunately, he's not going to realize there's still one more positioned in there as well. I think he's going to find out pretty dang quickly.
Really be able to make the end run, or will that the anti-air is more than enough. Especially when you're flying like very close to it, it becomes extremely deadly.
Well, don't worry, we have one more Naval Warfare strike looking for that 37 mil palm as well, so that's going to be quite interesting to observe. Down to the south, first Starovniki squad's being brought on in. Again, folks, Starovniki penal troops doesn't mean they're really that bad. I mean, frankly, if you look at this, yes, they get stressed a little bit more easily, but the accuracy, the rate of fire, I mean, this good chunk, honestly.
Yeah, and in a fight like this, where he's only really fighting against Luftwaffe Jaegers, it really just comes down to attrition, and having 15 guys is much better than having like 9 or 10.
Yeah. I want to take a quick look to the north. Su-76s beginning to barrage the front lines in this town. Naval Warfare strike going out, though. Can we see 3 for 3? No, I don't think we are.
Oh, a little bit short, yeah.
I think that the last anti-air position was like, I just saw what happened to Jeff. I mean, Vladimir, I'm out of here. So you see him kind of slowly shambling back to the east there.
I don't want to be shot at by rockets. I mean, it's not 4th of July.
No, no, but I can tell you it is almost as terrifying being in the middle of a 4th of July celebration put together by people from Staten Island. But that is a comment and a story for another time, my friends. For the time being, T-34 to the south hasn't been a whole lot of armor play, and like you said, a lot of that's because you shouldn't expect to see a whole lot from the 6th Luftwaffe, although we did see that, okay, yeah, the Stu-42 did get brewed up over here in the south. Off-map coming in just to the west on that northern town as well. We'll have to keep an eye on that in the next 30 seconds. But is this developing like you anticipated, or not so much?
Yeah, I mean, the north and central side is essentially just a stalemate, and everything's really just going on down south here. I mean, Ort is making pretty good progress. Graham starting to bring in some armoured vehicles, and these T-34 should be extremely effective, as especially right now, there's not a whole lot of anti-tank on these infantry. Those 2 stugs can prove to be a pain in the ass, but it's just still pretty good territory for the T-34s to fight over at forest and light forestry to maneuver and flank about in. The main problem is Graham needs infantry and reconnaissance to try and spot these Luftwaffejägers, and probably some more proper CQC troops, and well, that's what he got with the guard flamethrower troops down south.
Indeed, indeed, guys. Again, so obviously, of course, Flamer, pretty straightforward. One thing I guess I'm trying to keep an eye on as well, so if a commandant over here to the north, the 105 off-map came down, did some decent work. In fact, I might even see a push to the east, from west to east from this town overall. And yeah, that BF-109 was sent in just to see if that 37 mil survived. But if the Germans don't get these troops moving, they're going to get hammered by themselves by 122s. And as we've discovered, in this game, bigger is always better.
Yeah. The amount of armor at Graham can bring in will be quite deadly. The nice thing is that the Nashorn one does have 2-kilometer range and PAG-43, while IS-2... Oh, IS-2 also has 2-kilometer range, never mind.
It does.
That makes it actually really deadly for Nashorn one to engage, because... I mean, Nashorn one does have the advantage, so to speak, because it can shoot faster, but it has paper-thin armor. So I think IS-2 just needs to even just graze the Nashorn one, and it will just blow up.
Well, we are going to see another Nebel coming to the north. I have to watch this. It's another artillery strike coming down the German positions. They did not get out of there in time. And not having the committed eyes on, still getting some pressure, down on the anti-air position. I'm actually also kind of fascinated to see the southern Nebel aim north. Mostly because he's aiming for those Su-76s. I don't know if he's really got the chutzpah to give a kill, but we'll see how this works out.
That's a very long. That's going to be a pretty large dispersion on that rocket barrage, yeah. So it shouldn't be all that accurate, as we're clearly seeing. Oh, kills a 45 mil, so not terrible.
No, not terrible, but that's not exactly what you want to hear when you're an attacking general. It's not too bad. Yeah. I only lost 4 squads getting through there.
It could have been better, but you gotta take what you get.
Exactly. Break some eggs, that whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
IS-2 very prudently moves off the front lines. Nashorn as well, though, shouldn't be expecting a whole lot from them.
Yeah.
Again, stealth on this is still pretty shite, to put it mildly.
Oh yeah, it's very bad stealth, because it is a big bloody vehicle. It doesn't help out a lot when you have no armor whatsoever. I think that's a very good reason why they try to make King Tigers and Ferdinands. Because yeah, we're gonna have to make a big tank nonetheless to get its bloody gun in something. Might as well slap on 200mm of armor.
Yeah, it's kind of understandable,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, we are seeing a 50 mil. Sorry, the 45 mil. I was thinking the 50 mil. 45 mil to the north just continue to interdict this reinforcement into this town, and I think we're actually seeing it heat up. It's going to be a hot time in this town, I think, pretty soon. Soviets are getting pretty frisky. They're moving a little bit further to the west here.
Yep, I do love that 45mm position on the hill. That's providing really good infantry fire support. Damn, the 410 drops its bombs and almost crashes into the T-34, yeah. Really trying
Yeah,
to take one out with him.
apparently he's been spending too much time with his Japanese allies. The whole kamikaze thing is really kind of coming through by osmosis.
Indeed it is. But this town fight is going pretty well. I mean, Graham does have the better CQC infantry as Luftwaffe doesn't have all that much great CQC troops. You got like pioneers, and I believe some flamethrower guys, and that's really it. They're really just regular grenadiers is the bread and butter. Or like Luftwaffe grenadiers. Or Jaegers,
Well,
technically.
the Katyusha is not going to help matters at all. Keep in mind, guys, we have a commandant over here just behind the front lines. I'll let you guys just kind of read the whole thing here again. 40 stress resilience, 20% influence, 50% viewing range, -8. So the received accuracy is great. Unfortunately, I don't think it does a whole lot when you get shot at by 122mm incendiary rockets, or just rockets really overall, so...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's like the high explosive splash damage is pretty hard to dodge. I mean, just being near a high explosive shockwave is not good for one's health.
Yeah, I can certainly see that. I will say I do love the Luftwaffe Jaeger Panzerfaust squads because I actually have the MP-28 on there. I'm watching this one Su-76 that's right there.
Oh yeah, I'm watching him too.
But he's technically not close enough to get the shot off. He's throwing grenades though. So he's in the trenches taking grenades for him, John. I don't know.
Your land run into the crew compartment eventually. It's like playing basketball, but a bit more deadly.
Yeah, the weird thing is no one's going in to clear him out.
Yeah, I don't think... Can the Su-76 not see him?
I don't think he can. No, he can't. He's lofting grenades over the top of... Wow,
That's like... Wow, that's... Huh. I think Luftwaffe Jaegers or the Su-76s doesn't have that good optics. They must, it's like open top. Anyway, I mean, that Luftwaffe Jaeger shouldn't worry about it too soon with all the Soviet infantry coming towards him and going for one desperate hurrah charge into a sniper squad.
Which is weird. You wouldn't expect the sniper squad to be able to be that talented, but here they are. I do like this mark down here to the south. He knows that there's a Pack 40 there. He's been taking shots from it. You can see as it is some little fading fires over here just to the south of that forest. But as things continue to kind of heat up, it's 1311, you know, Graham's up on Ort right now, and we've seen this happen before. When Ort gets, you know, behind, one of two things happened. Either there's a very, very quick collapse, or he gets the bit back in his teeth, and it gets really nasty and really fun to watch. So I'm really hoping for the latter one here.
Yeah, he's starting to build up a pretty nasty little slug armored force in this northern town position here, which actually should compete pretty well against these like T-34 and Su-76. IS-2 is going to be a bit of an issue, but I'm sure, yeah, he has an Ashorn here to deal with that, so he does have the capabilities as well as a Neighbor Earther. A lot of Neighbor Earther artillery strikes in this match. I mean, both sides actually using rocket artillery quite extensively.
Yeah, that's a piece of me that's wondering if they really truly know what they're shooting at, or if it's just kind of more like, we know the enemy is there, okay, level the town.
Oh, the commandant went down!
Yes,
yeah, there we go. That was a really good kill, and the Ashorn is going to be driving through some flames. Is going to survive though, so that's and also another important unit you don't want to lose. But that commander going down is pretty huge, as just the influence on the front line is massive.
It's big, but let's remember that 6 Luftwaffe gets 2 to their card. And I think 2 is a pretty standard thing at this point for most of these divisions. They pick up 2 high command officers.
Yeah, usually.
So, yes.
Usually, infantry divisions, I notice, they get 2 commanders in a phase, while like tank divisions may only get like 1 commander card in a phase.
Yes, but then they usually get something like a tank version of it as well, which actually I really do love seeing that little tiny twist to it. Down to the south, I would say that this push is pretty much deceased. Not completely dead, mind you, but it's you know, it's certainly on the table, and I think they're going to call it pretty soon.
Yeah, I mean, it's a nice position to try and get a hold of, but Graham is pretty well dug in now. But the main thing is that even if Ort got pushed back, it doesn't matter. He's still holding out that crossroad flag, yeah, which is still a pretty good advantage to have. So
You're right.
he can just defend, and 6 Luftwaffe is good at defending.
You're right. I mean, and that's kind of what he needs to do. Or it might be dug in, but Graham is stug in. Oh no, I had that backwards completely. But you know what I meant. That's gonna go on one of those blooper reels, I'm sure. I'm sure somebody out there's been clipping stuff throughout all of these posts, and you know, the day that happens, I want to hear from you. But the rocket artillery, I feel like, you know, we wax philosophic about how much we love rocket artillery. This is why it is. You stun up entire pushes. You need to put up a curtain of fire so that you can go and engage where you want to and how you want to. And I think a lot of people don't really take advantage of that.
Yeah, rocket artillery is pretty powerful in its mod, as you can see. You can get run lucky hit and blow up a tank or a high value unit. The one downside to using rocket artillery, especially Katyushas and whatnot, is that they do use up a lot of supply. So you do need to make sure you have enough supply trucks. And as we saw with Orstack, yes, he has 2 cards of supply trucks, so he should be fine to just keep Nebel in throughout this entire match. He can afford the logistics.
He certainly can seem to. There is one T-34 down to the south, and oof, he just brewed up. There is nothing else down here to the south to kind of fight this off. Yes, there's some infantry, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that they're completely worthless. But it is kind of a tough sell. Oh, wait a second, I didn't even see this Katyusha battery back here. And one of the supply trucks goes up too. That was a big kill.
That's not bad at all. And Yak gonna be retaliating a bit with some bombs. Messerschmitt's coming in, but the anti-air should be enough to...
It's really far away. I just think the Messerschmitt is just a smidge too slow.
Yeah. Not the fastest interceptor. But yeah, push down south is going pretty well with the Stugs leading the charge, providing some very good fire support. Yeah, but Graham is dug in pretty deep in that forest.
Certainly is. That's, like you said, Strotniki don't need to be the most resilient of troops, but they just have to kind of throw their bodies at the enemy until, you know, they run out of ammunition.
Yeah. Yeah. They're nice and beefy. And having lots of guys in the squad is always been a very valuable thing in Steel Division. Especially with the Hungarians, with their big, like, 14, 15-man squads. They just won't die, man. They just won't die.
That's true, but the thing is that once you lose them, you have to watch out about the long-term effects on the actual Hungarian population, because every single Hungarian male is in this division.
Yeah, they are pretty large infantry squads.
Oh no, it's over. Chernos are coming in.
Oh no, oh god.
And we're seeing a really cheeky push with this. Oh, there we go. Pioneer's being thrown on into the fray. I think he was trying to get a surrender or two. I don't think he knew the Superior was there. But that Superior is no longer there.
Mm-hmm.
So, that was surprisingly nice. IS-2 continues to bedevil the entire approach. I'm trying to figure out, there is a Nashorn behind. A couple of Nashorns. In fact, I think there's the entire Nashorn complement for the 6th is on the field, I think.
He's got more on C-phase.
Oh, you're right.
But right now, he pretty much feels like he has most of them out. He has 2 in B-phase as well. He's actually very heavy on Nashorns. He only has, like, 2 anti-tank, like, guns. Everything else is self-propelled guns. And, I mean, Nashorns I find really hard to use. And especially against IS-2s, as we said before, you have the same range, you have paper-thin armor, and you're not that stealthy.
No, but you know what is going to be worthwhile if you can't be stealthy, is you bring in an ME-410, who will go and drop rounds down on top of an IS-2 and a, supply truck back there. So, IS-2 down to the south goes down. And once again, those guys aren't cheap. I'm not seeing there's a ton of those ME-410s in the entire deck. Indeed, I only see really a total of 5. We've seen one go down already. But, if you can get even remotely that good, oof, it's going to be murder.
Yeah. Main thing is, Graham he has like a lot of IS-2s in his deck, like taking a look of it. So he can afford to lose IS-2s left and right, really, and still be pretty fine. Of course, in terms of the budget, that's not going to be great. But also, in terms of the budget, I mean, looking at the income, we're almost into C-phase, give it another 6 minutes or so, and both sides really go pretty low in terms of point share. So I think things will definitely slow down once we reach out parts of the match.
Seems certainly likely. I think right now we're going to start to see an artillery push to start taking out anti-air positions again. We do have an off-map coming down. It's going to slam into that southern attack and pretty much murder it. You can see right now we sit exactly 12-12 again. After 25 minutes, we are right back where we started.
Yeah, it's been pretty back and forth. Nothing too crazy in terms of aggressive pushes. I mean, the front line hasn't really changed that much, but both sides are playing pretty slow defensive divisions. I mean, they're really just trading more rocket strikes and ground at this point.
Now, the regrettable thing is that some of these rocket strikes, I think, are being sent off with, I'm not going to say nary a care, but rather they are being placed very, I would say, almost conservatively, you know?
Yeah.
Like we're looking for the back lines, we're trying to take out the enemy assets in the back, we're not trying to hammer the front lines, which I always feel like is exactly what you need to do. Of course, when they land as they do, doesn't take out a supply truck this time, doesn't even take out the Katyusha, but does pretty well and start freaking him out quite a bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those rocket strikes can be pretty RNG dependent and their effectiveness. Sometimes they kill everything, sometimes they miss everything. And usually nothing in between.
Well, it really depends on how pious you are. You know, if you pray to RN Jesus and, you know, he cometh down, that's I believe that's the third commandment is, I am the Jesus, the RN Jesus thy Lord. You must pray to me before you do any artillery strikes. Unfortunately, I don't think a lot of them have really been so efficient here.
Indeed. Yeah, things are definitely starting to bog down a little bit. I mean, Ort has his, like, Stug platoon up north in the defense. Graham has set up his defense there as well. And looking down south, I mean, both sides are just kind of deploying in defense as we're digging into like a World War I situation.
Complete with the fact that we're taking barely trained reservists and sticking them on the front lines. Look at that town and see how many Chernos are there. One,
That
two,
is...
3, 6, 7 of them. And of course, they have to max them just in case they want to take one step back. So, you know, going quite historic here.
Yep.
And of course, the Germans are saying, welcome to the front lines, and the only way they know how. Iron cigars. Now, this will freak them out a little bit.
Yeah, but it won't really do much because he has nothing to follow up with the push, which is usually the thing with rocket artillery. Yeah, once you get like a strike like this, now would be the perfect time to push with a horde of infantry. But Ort only has one pioneer, and that's not going to be enough to make an effective push, even against Chernos.
Nope, I don't think so at all.
No. So down south, we're seeing a group of Luftwaffejägers moving up to the front line, deploying pretty close here, and they're going to be caught out in the open. Probably take some heavy casualties.
You know, but I feel that's kind of the MO. Like, you need to go and unmask these positions. Like the Su-76 just now, I think he just took a round. Is that from the Pak-40? Yeah, I think it's from the Pak-40.
Oh, yeah, Pak-40's got a pretty decent line of sight, I believe.
But there is an ISU-122 coming on in, so again, you know, and an IS-2. Geez, so they're going really hardcore. And the Katyusha is looking to take out that forest as well. So it's kind of amusing to me that we're seeing these kind of, you know, seemingly tiny trades back and forth. Like to the north, Nashorn takes out another IS-2. And you know, and it's happening in drips and drabs, like a death of 1,000 cuts on both divisions.
Yeah, it's just slow and steady, just trades between both sides here. I actually think, Khan, I think it would be safe if we take us to a ×2.
Sure, you want to do that at 29 minutes?
Yep.
Alright. And here comes that ×2 for you folks.
And go. There we go. Because, yeah, things, I mean, this is to be expected. This isn't, like, disrespect both players by speeding through the replay. They're playing very defensively. That's what the divisions do. So we might as well watch the rocket strikes in high speed. And I just saw one Katyusha strike knock out an Nashorn there, so...
Yep.
That's pretty damn good. And if Graham can keep knocking out those Nashorns, his IS-2s are going to have no threat.
Unfortunately, you're seeing in return the Nebel first are going to engage either nothing or a single out of supply Katyusha.
Yeah. It's just turning into like a game of battleships, as both sides are just trying to sink each other's battleships, and by battleships I mean Katyushas and Nebelwerfers. There's a lot of Katyushas and Nebelwerfers, Khan. I haven't seen this many in even in vanilla in ages.
Since you play Call of Duty World at War.
Exactly. Or Men of
No,
War.
that's actually probably even more true than what I was thinking. More Carthusians coming into the south. I mean, not too surprising there. Actually, I think we're going to start to see a push here in the south. 5 guard squads, and they're being dropped off out on the open roads. Like, this is not the wisest of advanced paths, but nonetheless, it certainly is something that could be potentially quite dangerous. 4 guard squads coming down the road. 3 guard squads going down the road.
Okay, it's going to be 3. Yeah, the MG-34s and the Pack are in a lovely position to just catch them all out in the open and do some lovely long-range fire here.
Yeah, but between I was at the ISU 122. That's the terrifying one, and then geez, Yak 1B coming in as well. He's gonna die, but he's gonna die as he lived, killing Fascista.
Yeah, knocking out the Pack.
Yeah, and that was what I was gonna say. Ooh, National goes down as well. Those are endangered. You can't shoot those.
Yeah, or it's the 40s, you know. You can kind of get away with it.
That's true, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Do I see some tube artillery? No, it's just the 242 lofting iron cigars way downtown.
That's the artillery version.
It's just very strange to see it, so you're kind of so used to seeing otherwise.
Yeah.
So, guard push, not dead, not alive, and I'm interested to see what this 122 barrage does. That was pretty good.
Is there more? There must be more.
There is, but there's a weird reload time on it. Yep, there you go.
Yeah. That one lone MG-34 gunner braving through the artillery strikes to save that piece of equipment.
You know, the headcanon for me is that he actually left the MG behind. He's just running from there. Theoretically, he's getting another piece of equipment.
Yeah.
Not to be outdone, BF-109s are kind of screening for this ME-410, excuse me. Looking for the ISU, and he doesn't get his bombs off.
No. But here we go. I mean, we're finally seeing some development here. Graham capturing that crossroads flag finally. But he's still a bit of defense he has to get through. There's a Pack 40, there's Nashorns, there's Stugs, there's infantry, another Nashorn, more Stugs. I think he's going to be able to hold on to his crossroads, but I don't think he's going to get anywhere deeper into enemy lines.
You know, I don't think he is either, but we'll see. We are going to see a BF-109. More and more Soviet aircraft are being taken out. We are going to see this attempt to kill that Pack.
Oh, the Commander, you need to run away, man. That's... I know you like to lead by the front and all of that, Rommel style, but that's a bit suicidal in this case. Especially when the Soviets have flamethrowers.
Pretty sure it's pretty suicidal even if the Soviets didn't have flamethrowers, but I admire your gumption on that.
Yeah. Well, Luftwaffe Jägers coming in to try and screen a retreat for the Luftwaffe Commandant. Catching these guards off guard.
Which is also kind of perverse when you think about it, too. These guys should not be able to be taken on the wing by some, you know, ragtag group of, you know, foot eagles over here.
And aircraft mechanics.
Yeah, just very, very strange. These 410s, not always getting the most viable, important kills, but the fact that they are still getting kills is quite important to us.
Yeah, and they keep getting shot down, which I'm thinking Ort is probably running pretty low on them now.
I think that's probably true. We are going to see another round of Katyushas. And I think... 1, 2... I think that's the last one of the Studebakers over here for the Russians, yeah. Because he's gotten 4... Yeah, he's got no more...
Oh, yeah.
All that's left of his rocket artillery is whatever he gets to shoot right now.
That's really going to screw him over. Like, he really needed, like, another card to play, because Ort is just going to continue Nebel Ref striking. And there we go, IS-2 went down there, down south, and that was really the heavy, you know, duty firepower. All he has is Churner on guards, and they can't do anything against Stugs.
Except get churned up, yep.
Yeah. Yeah, this is really coming down to attrition, but not so much manpower, but logistics, which is something you don't see all that often.
No, I mean, you don't, do you? I mean, Sturmovik coming into the south drops some, you know, unwelcome artillery. I'm finding this next kind of mini Nebelwerfer barrage. Apparently he thought going off half-cocked was better than actually firing off the entirety of it. So, rounds are out. Only 3 of them, but he's aiming for that town. And I'm wondering if we're going to see an attempted rush here? No rush.
Yeah.
No rush. Many rush in, no rush.
Yeah, it's a slow and steady push throughout town. Yeah, I mean the artillery's helping out a bit, but yeah, yes, he might be able to capture that northern town. There's only one IS-2, and he can only shoot so much. We are seeing a counterattack down south here from Ort, bringing in more Luftwaffejäger. I think both sides are going to have plenty of infantry to continue the fight here, so it should be pretty even Stevens in that regard. But I mean, this is going to be its one IS-2 to defend.
And one last barrage, I think, from that particular Katyusha. I don't think there's any more.
Yeah, National one went down, yo, so that was a really rough barrage.
Especially with the IS-2 right on the front lines as we speak. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
But back to a 12-12 here. And I mean, and as we cross the 42-minute mark, these guys are showing no signs of stopping. Like I said, whenever they seem to kind of meet up, there's one of two ways that it goes. It's either a complete total blowout, or we have, you know, a game of the century, at least in terms of time, if nothing else. I think this is one of those games that definitely starts out like a slow burn. Like, this is one of the things that's really drawn out. There's been a lot of artillery foreplay. Now we're getting to the meat of the action. Like, it's very...
It's like World War One. Like, at start it was, you know, very aggressive. Everyone was moving and mobilizing their forces. But now we're in, like, 1917, 1918 years. Everyone's running out of supply. People are dying. All the heavy equipment is gone. And it's just kind of slow slog until one side eventually collapses. But Ort has the logistics. I mean, yeah, Ort has the logistics, so to speak. He's getting those American shipments coming through, even though he's playing Germany, which is a bit weird. I think, like, that's going to help out a bunch, because we're seeing constant rocket barrages from him still.
And his Nashorns, while they don't have the right amount of armor, they're still able to get some very, very vital snipes here and there. Just looking at IS-2 numbers overall, 2, 5, 7, 9 of them. I don't know. I think we've seen probably the majority of them. Not all of them, but the majority of them go down.
Yeah, he still has a few IS-2s still, to be fair. Oh, actually, maybe not. I think he's
3, I think.
He's got 4 in total in the deck, so... Well, no, he's got 5 in total on the deck. I was miscounting there. Numbers are hard.
I was adding in the Converti's. He's at 9.
Yeah.
He's at 9.
Oh, okay.
But looking overall, I mean, just like the fact that we continue to see these constant strikes, and I feel like if he's able to go, he being Ort here, is able to go and get even a momentary kind of foothold in this northern part of this town, or this northern part of the town, the eastern side of it, that could be devastating overall. Unfortunately for him, I think he's really fixating on trying to take out these support teams and not really aiming for this town. If he aims for this town, there's what, 100 points of material in there pretty easily?
Yeah, well, the Chernos.
Oh, the Chernos, I mean, we have a combat officer in there, we even have the off-map. I mean, it could have been brilliant, but I don't think we're going to be seeing a barrage there anytime soon.
I do like how Graham is flanking with his one guard flamethrower team up north. I think he's going to try and get that Luftwaffe off the flag, and by getting him off the flag, he's probably going to convince him with the flamethrower, which is a very convincing tool.
I can't help but agree with you there. I can't say if I'm on the receiving edge of them, but at the same time, Ort has managed to get himself a 13-11.
Yeah, and nice thing is that unlike in vanilla, we're coming into the sudden death timer, so even though it's only a +1 tick for Ort, it's going to go down pretty quickly. And once we get to the 55-minute mark, if we do, it will go down even quicker.
Yeah, and I like that. I think there's a necessary change. Ooh.
Yeah.
So another Ort attempt is going to be made here to the south. You can see right now we're seeing 6 squads of infantry being brought on in. Nebel for strike going after that forest. Ooh, these are all the Panzerfaust Luftwaffejägers as well. So some honest-to-God true infantry.
Yeah, he's going to need an anti-tank. He's really going to need it. Well, the hard thing is trying to get close enough to the IS-2, but even then, it's just screen off any T-34s or Su-76s in the forest.
Well, we're going to see another barrage over here now at long last looking to find all the Chernos, and regrettably, though, this doesn't go with any push, which is, again, the part that's killing me a little bit on the inside, but just a little bit. I mean, I want to be able to survive here to kind of continue to preach the good word of these replays to everybody out there.
Yeah. Yeah, we're reaching the 50-minute mark now, and Otter's only running by that slow plus run, but he has pretty good momentum down south, holding onto the crossroads flag, as well as a run right in the center of the field here, as he has a Luftwaffe here, which gives you better frontline coverage, of course, while Graham, I mean, he has the Cherno spam coming into the northern town here, and, you know, trying to push the Luftwaffe here off the flag of the guards, but it ain't going to work.
You know, when you side, it kind of says a whole lot. You're like, yeah, there's sure no spam here. I'm like, yeah, that pretty much says it all, doesn't it?
Yeah, actually, the Cherno spam's working. I shouldn't have shied too much. He's actually very close to getting that flag, but there's a bunch of Stugs still back here. Like, the reserve Stugs have been there the entire time. They haven't really been fighting that much. It's just the air when they're needed.
You know what has been fighting a fair bit is those, again, ME-410. Came down south, took out 4 squads of infantry with the last bombing run.
Damn,
and
not bad.
broke the back of at least the first line. There's only the, rush in here of Chernos that stopped it from becoming a complete rout. And IS-2, I think, is going to claim this Nashorn. Yep.
Yeah, it's really dangerous using Nashorns in close quarters engagements like that. He does have a Pak-43 in the forest, so if he can actually maneuver into a shooting position, it's his Redstorm, it takes forever to move anti-tank guns, he will be in a pretty good position to just shut down any armor. Yeah. It's probably going to take like 5 minutes for it to reach the edge of the forest, because it moves a ROP in... Oh, you don't see speed for foot sloggers, I forgot.
No, they measure speed for foot sloggers in deployments, I think. So the first time you go over to the front, I mean, at that point, it's a couple 100 meters maybe.
Yeah.
But the Chernos are falling back down here in the south, and that's probably a good plan. Unfortunately, nobody told the Su-76. So, also not sure why he's not being rushed right now by these Luftwaffe Jaegers, but what do I know?
Shotgun that can. Or could. But yeah, it's really just coming down to... I mean, Ort is still being able to continue his rocket barrages, while Graham can't. He has a bunch of very expensive Katusas, which can't do anything right now. He's making up for it in bombing strikes, but it's not... Well, actually, he is winning right now, so it is making some progress. He doesn't have a whole lot of airplanes, and I feel like he's going to run out soon. He's probably
Except for their IL-2s, which take forever and a day to die.
Yeah. They just refuse to die. But they just forget to die sometimes, But up north. I mean, up north, the far northern town, we've barely talked about it at all. It's pretty much been in Graham's control this entire time, but Orta's going for a sneaky flank here with 2 Luftwaffe Führers. I guess they can lead each other in trying to take his position.
Well, I guess between 2 butter bars, you should be able to find something good about it.
Yeah. And even though not the best equipped, I mean, they're going to be able to outgun the Superior at long range. And even moving the Luftwaffe Fusiliers to screen ahead in the forest. And that's going to be a pretty easy flag for Ort to hold. That might just really be it. Because it's only 3 minutes left if it, continues.
But the funny thing is, right now, he actually needs to get just a smidge more of infantry in there, because technically, there we go, okay.
Yeah.
That 1 guard squad going down really helped out a lot. But yeah, I mean, the funny thing about this is that you have an even game the entire time, until you get to this kind of sudden death timers, you can kind of get away with not really being too aggressive, and then you get to these things right here, and this is the make or break moment.
It's always been like that huge argument about time limit in the game, but frankly, you don't need a time limit if you have this feature in the vanilla game. Because you can still play like your long sea phase divisions, but you don't have to play like 30 minutes extra after you're running to like slowly beat out the opponent. You can actually play long style in Redstorm and do pretty well, because once you get to like this far into the match, and if you have your attrition, if you haven't ran out due to attrition and you have the better income, you can win pretty easily. You just have to survive.
Well, and that's the kind of fun thing about this, is that you're almost being rewarded for surviving.
Yeah, you can play like defensive for like a lot of the match, set up your iron rule and break the enemy as they try to break onto you, and then when they run out of stuff, you push through, capture the few flags, and win in 5 minutes.
Shotgun of striking is going out here. I think this is just to kind of keep Yeah, yeah, this is just an FU at this point. Because the southern side's been lost, so he's trying to just take a couple more flags here just as insurance as we go down to the last 28 seconds.
Yeah, but I think capturing that northern flag pretty much sealed the deal there for all. That was such a good position to hold on to, and Graham has really bad logistics or really bad movement getting up here in terms of like roads, is what I'm trying to say.
That's totally fine, and as you expect, with an hour-long game, we have hour-long game KD, so we have cheese.
Holy moly.
Still only an 800 difference.
Yeah, that's not that bad, all things considering. I believe this is probably one of the longest games we've ever casted. Not where we went through 2 times speed for half of it, to be fair, but still, that was a long match.
You know who's making me drool, though? Take a look at the kills.
Oh, Mr. Pavlov. I mean, he doesn't need a house. He just needs an IS-2.
True. I wasn't even thinking Pavlov's house. I was thinking Pavlov the dog thing, but that's fair too. That's absolutely fair. But
Addition to kill.
The IS-2s, these were the rocks upon which the 6th broke for so long.
Holy moly, yeah.
Every single time you put IS-2, we're seeing, 150 points worth of kills. On the other side, though, Mivas, we have a few kills right there. Fleisch, definitely getting his pound of flesh there. Well done. Bach, well, I think he's dead, but I'm sure at one point he'll be Bach. Kedding did very well himself. Tisha, this ME410s, I mean, there was a lot of very, very strange kind of like demi-impressive performances. Not to Pavlov's level, of course. No. But very impressive nonetheless.
No, Duke got like 3 IS-2 kills, which is pretty damn good. He knocked out like 1/3 of the IS-2s.
Got 4 kills. He was almost an instant ace today.
Wow.
So just again, one of those things where you see exactly what you might have expected. The Soviets are extremely strong around their vehicles, but when you start working outside those vehicles, maybe not seeing the same kind of value that they might have hoped.
Yeah, those IS-2s were just, a great fire support against a horde of Luftwaffe Jaegers, and they're very good when you don't have to fight Panthers or... Well, they're good against Panthers and Tigers, but it's better when they're not around.
Indeed.
But yeah, that will be a game run victory to Ort, and the next cast will be covering game 2. So if Ort does win the next run, he will be going on to the true finals, and Graham, he's only got one chance.
One opportunity. Will he take it, or will he let it slip? Well, I guess we'll find out next time. I guess until that time, I'm Con Ulrich.
I'm Rangru. Take it easy.